Hi, my name is Connie. Like he shared, I'm an ex-graduate of SNI just 3 years ago, so not too long ago. Before I start, I just want to say thank you just for letting me be here. I think, yeah, he asked us to speak, and I had no idea why, especially it was like during the middle of the school year. But I think it was a time just for healing and to also just see, be blessed while I was at Shepherd's Retreat. And I think just there was this one moment yesterday. I was watching y'all do the feet washing ceremony, and it was just so like it just filled me with so much of God's love. I think one specific thing was I was just watching the SWAT team, like they were just like going back and forth carrying buckets and buckets of water so that the shepherds and the adult leaders could wash each other's feet, right? And I think I was just really blessed by just watching the SWAT team. You know, they were there, not even knowing if they're going to be shepherds, right? Not even knowing like what is going to happen, but they're there to serve. But also, I think y'all are also blessed to be part of that. Yeah, like literally, I thought about it. Like y'all went there to go carry buckets of water, but like you were also so blessed by it too, you know. And I was blessed by it, so thank you for letting me be part of that. But yeah, to go into my testimony. So during Shepherd's Retreat, I shared about why I believe that our trust in God has a direct effect on, and it's reflected in how we approach the relationships in our lives. And during retreat, I focused on just my house church experience, and y'all heard my relationship with my ex-co-shep, Michael. But I think today I'm gonna be sharing on the same topic, but just with a different person in my life. And I shared my hopes that our trust in God is strengthened as we trust our relationships with our house church members too, right? But I think today's focus is just in our families. My biggest hope is just that we can all continue to build a heart that's more like Jesus. That's really all I can ask for myself too. And a Jesus who prayed that his people would be with him and to just have God's love in him, in them. Yeah, and then I read John 17, 20 through 26. And honestly, one of the first people that came to mind when I read this passage was actually my sister. I don't know if y'all know, but I have a younger sister. I don't know where she is. Somewhere. Oh, over there. Yeah. But yeah, I have a sister, and she was the first one who came to mind. And I know some of you may remember this, but PJ has said a lot that revival begins in our homes, in ourselves, right? And I think I was really convicted by that, and that's why I find it so important that whatever I shared at retreat with the people that aren't in our homes, as important as that is, it's so important that it's also applies to the people closest to you who really get to see every part of you, but you still get to extend grace, but also receive grace from them, right? So before I start, I'm going to read this prayer again that Jesus prayed that before he was arrested and he was crucified. And if you want to turn with me, it's in John 17, 20 through 26. Yeah. So Jesus prays for all believers. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I in them and you in me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you sent me, and have loved them even as you have loved me. Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you have loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Father, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they know that you have sent me. I have made you known to them and will continue to make you known in order that the love you have for me may be in them and that I myself may be in them. So just for people who weren't at the retreat, I wanted to share the beginning of just everything leading up to now, leading up to the story I'm going to share. And it's just the biggest way that God's turned my life upside down. And I know some of y'all heard it so many times, but you know, when it's that great, you want to keep on sharing it, the good news, you know. So I'm going to share it again. And it's just the first time that I was 100% secure that God's love for his son was in me. And everything that I had learned, everything that I've heard, the gospel, everything, since I was young, it finally just clicked, and it became something that I also wanted to share to others in my life. During the pandemic, there's this time when God revealed a hurt that was deep in my heart, and it had to do with my parents. But I just never recognized it. And my parents are actually my biggest spiritual mentors today. I look up to them so much, and as I grow older, more and more, they just show me what men and women should be like, men and women of God should be like. But I think the reason why it's just so much more powerful in my life is because I know that there are broken people who've been saved and transformed by grace just so beautifully. And I've had the privilege to witness that transformation. And when I was younger, I think there was just a lot of hurt that came from just anger that they were also receiving healing from, right? They're young in their faith, and they're still growing. And in ways I was affected by it. And I think it took years of just my mom talking to me, apologizing, praying about it with me. But I think I just kind of let it come and bounce right back, because I thought I was okay and I thought I didn't need to like receive any healing from it, right? But little did I know, I needed it. And there was this one moment when there was a spike, and I realized that I didn't want to slide it under the rug anymore. I didn't want to let it just be a stumbling block to receiving God's love, right? I think in that moment there were just a lot of lies that the enemy was putting in my head. That victim's mentality, I don't know how many of you know, but or have experienced this, but I think the victim's mentality is just so dangerous to receiving God's love and giving it to others, because you don't realize how much God has brought us out of darkness. Don't let that change your life. The lies that were in my head, it was just, you know, what did I do so wrong? Why do I have to stay silent until they resolve it? Why do I have to act like I'm okay when I'm not okay? And I just didn't want to forgive. Forgiveness was so hard, and I don't think I truly ever experienced what forgiveness was like. So I just chose not to speak to them. But yeah, I live in their home, so I kind of have to speak to them. Eventually, we spoke. But yeah, as I was in my room, just being angry, I think for the first time, God just spoke to me about the cross. He reminded me of, first, that he loved my parents, who in my eyes, at that time, were just so undeserving of my forgiveness. Like, how dare they, you know? But he reminded me that he would nail his own son to the cross, who had done nothing wrong. And in that moment, he was separated from his own father, right? But he also reminded me that I was also undeserving in my bitterness, in my anger, and my sin, but that he still loved me. He loved me and my parents the same way, the same amount. So what could be so hard to just look at them in the eyes? What could be so hard to just speak to them, you know? And I think God just gave me courage to just step out, to speak, to bring my hurt into the light as it should, and to experience reconciliation with them, and to just be changed by his grace. And this grace is just so freely given to us. It gave me new eyes to see certain relationships in my life where I pushed people away, push them away, seeing how they hurt me and not seeing where my heart was and how I was not representing who Christ is, you know? And one of the people was Michael, which I shared 2 days ago. But another story is recently God's just been convicting me of someone else who's also part of this story, who's just my younger sister. And he's been taking me through a journey of putting her in my shoes. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically reminding me that maybe I'm also the one who needs forgiveness, you know? So my sister and I have a pretty, not a small age gap, it's like around 7 years, and so especially when my sister was younger, I was kind of told that I was the second mom, right? So I always grew up feeling a big responsibility to be her caretaker, to be her protector, and even be the one to discipline at times. I wanted the best for her, but I would also hold her up to so many expectations. And sometimes these expectations were even higher than the ones that my parents gave her. Like, who am I? Yeah, I just remember there are parts of our child experience where I wanted the sister I loved to avoid the pain of so many things that I had experienced, and I was acting out of fear and anger, right? And I was just hoping that she would understand my intentions, that they weren't to hurt her, but in a way, I was trying to control a lot. You know, I couldn't let go, and a confession I have is I still have control over the apps she downloads, and I live in Austin, so I will have to, like, some days I get text like, can you approve this? Can you approve this? Yeah. And deep down in my heart, I knew that as she grew older, that our relationship would have to eventually change, and just acknowledging that sometimes I was the hardest on her. And realizing that I could also be someone to hurt her at times in the ways that I felt that I received hurt from my family members. They were out of my overprotectiveness, acting out of my fear, and not trusting God just trusting God because He's her child, extending grace and giving her space to experience it for herself, right? Because it's not my experience to give her, but it's her own journey, it's her own life. And something I don't express as often is that she's actually one of the people that have the biggest hearts that I know. I'm always so thankful. She's not really one to express to really how she feels just yet. So I don't know exactly what thoughts she holds, but I think she is a definition of actions speak louder than words. And no matter how many times I fall, no matter how many times that, you know, I say things that I regret or do things that I regret, she's just so loyal. And I think, I don't know, maybe some of y'all who have younger siblings can understand the loyalty that your younger sibling has for you no matter what you do. And I think I'm just really thankful for that. She showed me so much more grace than anyone I know. And despite everything, she continues to shower me with love and admiration, and it challenges me every time to just be more like Jesus. Jesus who is patient, who is steadfast, someone who just wants others to know that He is in us, that God's love is in us. Yeah. So before, I was one who learned how to forgive and how to see the cross and see the people closest in my life and extend that grace. But now He's showing me how to receive it. And I'm not here because I've done anything great. I'm here because I'm also broken. I'm a child of God who needs forgiveness. I'm a child of God who needs to be transformed and is being transformed as I stand here right now. I'm just one life, one story who's been marked by God's grace. Who's crying out to God, will you help me to trust you, to entrust these relationships that you've given me, these people, these people who are so special, but sometimes I hurt the most. And I need you to intervene, to show me how to love like you do. I'm someone who needs forgiveness, and I want y'all to join me. I'm going to read this prayer again. I want us to just think about who in your life comes to mind when you hear this prayer. This prayer that Jesus prayed to his Father for all of us who know him and for the people who will come to know him. Someone who has had this heart for you maybe, or someone you want to have this heart for. And let's just think of them, and let's just trust these people, entrust these people to God, and start living like people who've received grace, because we are people who've received grace. So I'm going to read it one more time in John 17, 20 through 26. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who believe in me through their message, that all may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I and them and you and me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you have sent me, and I've loved them even as you have loved me. Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Father, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they know that you have sent me. I have made you known to them and will continue to make you known, in order that the love you have for me may be in them, and that I myself may be in them. Yeah, so I just want us to let that really be a prayer that we also pray, and experience how beautiful it would be for us to take what we practice at this church with our friends, with our house church members, and take it to our homes, and let that overflow in all of our lives. And yeah, just want y'all to know that is also a journey that I'm taking, and I hope that we can take it together. So yeah, thank you.